Hello everyone and welcome to Luminar Coffee Break. I'm Angela Andrieux and today we're going to be talking about how to enhance fall colors. Let me share my screen with you and we'll get started. Got a gorgeous fall autumn image up on the screen, but it's a little bit muted, and you know that if you had been there in person, those trees, those yellows and oranges and reds would have just popped out at you and looked amazing. But sometimes when we pull it straight out of the camera, especially in a raw image, it can look a little bit flat. So we want to make this image look its absolute best. I want to take a moment and say hello to Joseph. Glad you're able to join me today. If you guys have any questions as we go along, make sure you pop them into the chat. I'll do my best to answer those during the show. And if you're watching the recording, post your questions in the comments and I will respond to you a bit later. All right, so with this image, I'm going to start at the top of our Essentials panel and work my way down. We're going to begin with Enhance AI, which is our auto improvement tool. You'll see as I pull this up, it's popping the colors, giving contrast, doing some really nice things. But I'm going to keep that at a lower level, probably right about there. And let's also use some sky enhancer. That's going to bring out some of that detail in the sky and just give it a little bit more drama. I think that looks great. Hey Russ, glad you're able to join me today. All right, let's go down to our structure tool, add a little bit of extra detail here. I just love the extra clarity and mid-tone contrast that structure adds. And now we can start working with the color. Now in looking at this image, the clouds are a little bit on the blue side, so I don't want to mess with my white balance because that's going to make these clouds more blue, and these trees, you can take them more yellow or you can make them more blue. Instead, I'm going to go to our color panel and we're going to click down here into HSL and let HSL work its magic. Now the first thing I want to address is that the trees are a little bit on the yellow side. And one of the things that will make those oranges and reds and golds pop out more is going to have some true green in there. So I want to intensify the green a little bit. I'm going to take some of these yellow tones and actually push them a little bit more towards green. And look what that does to the image. It really makes these trees right here pop out from the image. We can also work a little bit with our oranges and reds. I'm going to make those oranges maybe a little bit more red, and those reds I'm going to leave right about there, and make those greens. I think those look pretty good. Now we can also go down into our saturation, and this is where we can start to brighten up some of those yellows, made a little bit more yellow saturation, a little bit more saturation in those oranges, and a little bit more saturation in those reds. And that makes a huge difference in this image. Let's turn our color tool off and back on again. You can see it just adds a nice pop of color. Hey Ralph, so glad you're able to join me today. All right, from there, let's go down to our landscape tool and take a look at a couple of other options that we have. Golden hour is a really nice one for making fall foliage look good, but it tends to add a warmth to the entire image. And you see as we bring that up, it's actually looking a bit unnatural. So we want to keep that at a pretty low level for this image. And then we have our foliage enhancer. Now it doesn't target every tone of the trees here. It's really only going to target those greens. We already made our greens pop out a little bit more, so if we pull this up and intensify it, it's going to make those greens even more green. And I'm not sure we want to do that, maybe a very small amount, and then I think that looks really, really good. Let's take a quick look here at our before and our after. We've done a lot to really pop the colors here. Now if you think it needs a little bit more, you can come up to our color tool. You can pull up a little bit on the overall vibrance. You can pull up on the overall saturation a little bit, but make sure you don't go too far. The thing is, we want to keep this looking natural. So if you're looking at your image, you take a look at that before and after, and you know what? Maybe we've gone a little bit too far. That's what this overall amount slider is here at the bottom. You can go ahead and pull that up a little bit. We can pull it back down and find that right balance for where this image looks its best. And I think right about there looks amazing. So I hope you guys like this. It gives you some tips on how to get out there, photograph, and process your fall and autumn images. If you guys have any questions, like I said, pop them into the comments below. I'll do my best to get those answered for you. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you give us a thumbs up here on YouTube. Our producers love to see that. And it keeps us able to produce more content for you guys. So with that, I want to wish you guys a great rest of your day, and I will see you at the next coffee break. Bye, everyone.